When you think that metal hasn't got any rust on it, if you give it a spray with some 3:1 water to vinegar and leave it for a couple of minutes, you'll see how it basically goes orange. So here's my rear door after some lead loading. Again, it worked great. I think I decided to do this because it's just such a much smoother finish, and it's obviously watertight, flexible, and nice to work with. I'm about to epoxy prime the door before I obviously do some filler, but I just want to show you, when you think that metal hasn't got any rust on it, if you give it a spray with some 3:1 water to vinegar and leave it for a couple of minutes, you'll see how it basically goes orange. That's all of the rust being eaten away there. And then what I'll do is I'll use a scourer, some coarse steel wool to rub it off, and then give it a clean with some warm soapy water. You'll see how full on it is, and on the other side as well. So this was a panel that looked pretty shiny, but obviously because it's been sitting there unpainted for a while, it had some tiny pitting. And this is my door with repair section down the bottom. Comparison video. After some of it's been wiped off, you'll see what a difference it makes. So I just used my new putty gun and put some Epoxy Super Etch primer. I've used this Ozito Putty Gun with a 2mm nozzle, and it works great. Just done the back door. A couple of coats of that. Looks really nice, really even. It was easy to do, just about 40 psi. Worked great. And across the top here is where I'm going to use some filler, because that's where the patch repair section is. So I'm just going to use a really thin skim over that to get it smooth. Flat it back, and then give the whole thing a coat of spray putty. Flat back that, and then the final coat on. I might even put a clear on this because they cop a lot of abuse, the rear doors. So I'm pretty happy with that repair. And the gun I'm using is a Ozito spray putty gun, and comes with 2 nozzles for spray putty or for primer, and it was about $30, so cheap. Works really nicely. So one primed door panel, and I used this Super Etch epoxy primer. The great thing about it is today's not the best weather, it's sort of a bit overcast, but this stuff dries so fast that I was able to put about 3 coats on, and I just used a paint stripping gun on low heat just to help it sort of speed along the drying process. But yeah, you can see I've got a little bit of work to do with some light filler at the bottom, but I think it's come up pretty good. This is the underside as well. So the next step will be to put a light skim of filler across the actual join on the other side, and then I'll give it a spray in polyester and flat that down, and then I'll actually seam seal on the inside. Sand it back again and give it a couple of base coats. I might even put a clear coat on these, couple of clear coats, because they just cop so much abuse at the rear of the car. Yeah, so there's one door coming along. Here's my door. I've used some Evercoat, which is really good for feathering. And yeah, it's coming up pretty good. I'm going to do another skim over the whole lot and then block it to get it really smooth. But so far, pretty happy with the finish. There's a slight low spot here, but feels really good. A bit of a low spot there as well, but nothing that can't be fixed.